Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Fights Highlights. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. Good. Ciao time. You guys really seem to like this series. I'm trying to find them, but it's very hard to not get demonetized on these videos because of the, women getting beat up thing.
Girls versus guys in MMA. It's not often that fans will see intergender mixed martial arts action, but where there's a will, there's a way. Typically, fighters are divided by gender, weight, and skill level, but these barriers aren't always there, and we'll spend this video highlighting some of these bouts. In this bout, we've got a display of two very different fighters, a 50-year-old man taking on a girl that has a size and apparent skill advantage. Now, this isn't what you'll see when turning on a UFC or PFL card, but it's entertaining nonetheless. The female here strikes early and often with the roundhouse kicks and teep kicks up the middle. But the 50-year-old man is doing a good job mitigating the impact despite not really knowing how he's doing it. Obviously struggling with the pressure, the man will turn his back to his opponent and run away. As the fight continues, things begin looking up for the older gentleman. His side kicks and body kicks.
She is quite bigger than him, but she's not really putting any force in any of her hits.
Seem to bother his female adversary. Now that he's found his timing and range, will he be able to do much with it? Not much. He's continually cut off and pushed against the cage. Though he's the furthest thing from a technical fighter, he's making his kicks and footwork work for him. The advancing female fighter just can't quite trap her opponent. However, she ends the round by pushing him down to the canvas. This match did have
size difference do matter.
A hiccup of not being intergender, as the cornerman of the female fighter scaled the cage and attacked the 50-year-old. He was given the boot, and the bout continued.
Wait. Why did that guy even step in? The fight was normal.
Because why not? As the third round begins, the man found the tools that'll work for him en route to victory. He takes his female foe down to the canvas and begins attacking from a headlock position. Right as the older man looks like he's about to finish the straight arm lock, would you look at that? The corner man comes rushing back and attempts to attack again.
That ref saved that guy. Holy cow, that guy was about to stomp on his head.
Despite this interference, the bouts once again continued, and the older gentleman secures the submission victory with 10 seconds left in the fight. All right,
That was crazy. That the corner man jumped in twice like that.
Turn our attention to Poland, where MMA can, host any number of odd matchups.
Weird.
Don't get it wrong, Polish power is real, but the matchmaking can tend to a more obscure audience. When Piotr Lisowski met his smaller female adversary, things seemed a bit tense and largely felt wrong. This feeling was only exacerbated as the fight moved forward. Piotr had a clear size and strength advantage that allowed him to fight from the outside, but when the distance was closed, he'd easily secure the takedowns. The end of the first round saw Piotr on the bottom with a locked-in inverted triangle. Round 2 begins and it's more of the same. This poor blonde girl
You can see how tired she is already.
Didn't have the attributes required to take on Lisowski. He took him down once again in the second round and easily moved into the mount position. He then landed some ground and pound that warranted the referee's intervention. This event didn't end there. Yet another dolled-up male took on a much smaller female later that.
Is that a trans person or just a person with a whole bunch of surgery on their face?
Night. He was able to make it look less competitive, although he might have been the least skilled on the card. A series of light but frequent punches urged the referee to stop the action almost instantly.
She's not even defending herself.
Tired of seeing bigger men fighting women? Well, so are we. But there's a whole lot of it. In this particular match, we have a guy who may be 1, 2, or 10 weight classes above his female opponent. Small and svelte doesn't mean she doesn't pack a punch, however. With evasive footwork and excellent timing, she tries to make the most out of what she's got. As she tries,
but her punches are like mosquito bites on this guy.
Tries to dance around her opponent, she's eventually cut off and pressed against the fence.
Like, the thing is, do women go into these fights, especially like this particular one with that man that size, thinking that she can win? Like, yes, you can maybe outmaneuver this gentleman, but this gentleman probably gonna land one punch and just sit on you, and you're screwed.
Forced to have this gentleman's weight pressed against her, things are looking
like
rough for this
her.
female athlete. The referee eventually steps in and breaks the fighters for lack of action. Where she brings some technical striking and nice movement, this man's only using his size to press the action. He constantly presses her against the fence and wears on her. Again, these promotions are very bizarre. Ready for a callback? The woman from the previous video jumps into the octagon and attacks the forward-pressing man. Regardless, this match continues and actually ends up going the distance. The man, known as Grigory Chestiakov, won via decision. Shocker, right? This isn't the only instance of Grigory Chestiakov partaking in intergender mixed martial arts. He was also seen taking on Darina Madzia. He brought in the same game plan for this fight. He charged forward and hoped to suffocate his opponents, not with a choke, but merely with his mass. This worked on the last girl, but Darina is a whole different animal. She attacked with straight shots, Superman punches, and kicks. These attacks bothered Grigory, and it showed on his face. Regardless, he was able to press her onto the fence per his game plan. However, a lack of action prompted the referee to step in, and they were placed back into the center of the ring. It was then that the unexpected happened. Darina landed a series of right hands that sent Grigory down to the mat. She then landed punch after punch, and her opponent then tapped out due to strikes. This might be the weirdest fight
that sometimes size don't matter. Well, I mean, that gentleman was quite oversized
to ever take place, and that's saying a lot given the previous bouts in this video. Two tattooed fighters, old and young, took on a female that doesn't exactly
Wait. Two are fighting one woman? What is going on in this country?
Physique of one to challenge Amanda Nunes. However, she surprised many within seconds of the fight starting. A 2-on-1 handicap match would usually spell disaster immediately. But this woman is a better fighter than she appears to be. Or the two
These guys look like freaking walking sticks.
Guys are just really, really bad. It might be all of the above. The bout begins, and so do the strikes.
Yeah.
The older gentleman takes the lead and tries to close the distance using feints. But he sat down with a series of strikes from this brave woman. She didn't keep the knockdowns just for him, as she also rocked the younger of the male fighters. It's hard to secure a TKO and finish when you have two opponents to deal with.
See, this would be like what the feminists like to argue. Women can beat men up too. Yeah, when it's this much of a size difference between the woman and the man, it's quite, apparent. But most assaulters, predators, are going to be decent size.
So these knockdowns were often interrupted. All three athletes, we use that word lightly here, are back on their feet and the action ensues. Again, it's the older gentleman advancing and giving it his all to attempt strikes. The woman has the size advantage, but she's clearly on the more difficult side of the matchmaking. Regardless, she's doing very well. The two men are hesitant to close the distance and they know the woman has the ability to knock them down. The first round concludes, and it seems that the woman won that one on the judges' scorecards. In this bout, we have a man taking on a woman in a backyard kickboxing match.
These types of matches are crazy to me because it's not official in any way. It's just women fighting men straight up.
Thing isn't as high profile as previous entries. The bout may hold the most skill in this entire video. The girl sporting the Muay Thai shorts while her male opponent seems to be wearing Dickies, which aren't exactly known as garb for a kickboxing match. Regardless, the match begins and the action is immediately interesting. The girl does a great job jabbing and throwing leg kicks, moving her head off the center line as she does so. She shells up well whenever the guy tries to brawl with her. She seems to have formal training and a higher than normal fight IQ.
True.
However, the longer the match goes on, the more comfortable the guy becomes. He begins landing kicks of his own and finding his range. The longer the fight goes on, the more it seems that it plays into the man's favor. The girl's still in the bout by the end of the first round, but it seems that her cardio is failing her.
Cardio is a big thing when it comes to like boxing matches and these matches. Oh my gosh, the 3 minutes or 5 minutes rounds are so tiring.
The second stanza just picks up where the first round dropped off. The man's throwing combinations and landing a good amount of shots while the girl's landing leg kicks, but they've lost most of their steam. In the most exciting moment of the fight, the girl goes high with a kick and lands hard enough to send her opponent's mouthpiece flying. The two continue to exchange in what is a pretty closely contested fight. This bout went all 3 rounds and needed the help of the judges to see who won. The winner? Well, this shows how close it really was, but the bout was declared a draw. Well, that about does it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
It's weird to me that one country just allowed a lot of those matches versus women versus men, and like a woman versus two men. That is crazy. But she held her own, so I can't even say much about it. But this is the delusion that a lot of women have. They think that they're that big girl versus the two little guys because, you know, Hollywood. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time.